What are you looking for out of life?
Out of life?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a loaded question.
It's not loaded.
I mean, I don't know. I guess meaning,
There you go.
purpose.
Frank, what are you looking for out of life?
Some fucking luck.
I mean, that was my next answer after meaning and purpose.
That's why you asked those questions.
And that's it, Frank. Hey, everybody, Barstool units finally in the office. I'm Coach Doug's. With me, as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, how you doing?
It's episode 17. Yes, that's right. We're here at Barstool Units, episode 17. Baseball is now fully underway. The Mets are using their elbows to get wins. We got the Masters this weekend. And we're hitting a dead end in our big units house search.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening. Sports are back. I feel like now, I mean, March Madness was madness. It was a lot of fun watching
Until the final game.
Yeah, what a disappointment.
That game was just awful.
In my head, I really thought, like, hey, Gonzaga could come back, in the second half and really, like, they could make this a game and it could be, like, one of the greatest comebacks ever.
I knew that game was over when it was 11-1.
Yeah.
Which was the...
I mean, it was 11-0.
Because I'll say this. I was watching the Met game. I was home. Didn't have dual TVs. Mm-hmm. So the first moment I flipped on that game, it was 11-1.
Yeah.
The next time I flipped the game, it was 28. What was it, 28-9 or something like that? Mm-hmm. It was over.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. When you get up that much, like it doesn't matter how good you are.
I mean, I remember one time Duke came back from 22 down in the semifinals against Maryland, but that's because Duke missed a whole bunch of shots at the beginning and then just got hot.
Yeah.
Gonzaga was getting smothered. Tim A. just was pushed around and manhandled.
Yeah.
And Baylor just kept making all their shots, especially from three.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were making their shots for sure.
I mean, Gonzaga was kind of lucky to beat UCLA.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a buzzer beater.
Yeah, the buzzer beater. I mean,
in overtime.
And UCLA was hitting every shot on the field.
Yeah.
And what UCLA showed was that the Gonzaga defense is velvety soft.
Yeah. Oh, but we're not saying that UCLA would have been better against Baylor, right? Baylor just looked so good. They might have made it. It might have been closer.
It wouldn't have been. I don't think it would have been as ugly.
Okay, but they wouldn't have won.
I don't think so.
Baylor was winning that game.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I really don't like the Baylor University program. They just have too bad of history.
Yeah.
They say that human existence is just a little blip in between the next ice age. Well, this Baylor season was just a little blip in before their next major scandal.
That's definitely how you feel. You've mentioned that quite a few times. I do have a question on that though. So the Baylor stuff happened a decade ago, 20 years ago?
Well, the murder was about 20 years ago. I think that was like 2004.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like on Frank's timeline, is there like a drop-off point? Is there is there a statute of limitations for Frank Fleming, or is it just nope, Baylor's out and they will never be back in?
Run a clean program for 20 years.
Has there been anything in the last 20 years?
Yeah, the rape stuff.
Was that 10 years ago?
No, that was more. Yeah, that was maybe more like 7, 8 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So still got about 14 more years, or
I mean,
12 more years.
There's one program I don't think we'll ever be able to recover in my mind.
What's that?
Penn State.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the football program. I mean, Joe Paterno, I think, was willfully blind. But he did report to the athletic director.
Yeah.
He did report to the university president. And the fact that the university president and the athletic director basically covered it up and were actually charged with like hindering prosecution.
Yeah.
That's something that Penn State can never recover from, and the tarnish on Penn State to me will never. I look at Penn State. I used to like actually kind of respect that program. I have no respect for Penn State. They can't lose enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's tough. Well, I mean, I feel bad for future students. It's and other fan bases that obviously are vying for Frank's affection.
And then, of course, when the Rutgers tries to be a rival of Penn State, which is kind of ridiculous in football, because Rutgers, I think, has only beat Penn State twice. And one of those times was a fluke when Rutgers actually almost made a bowl game when it was back when they were an independent and there was not that many bowl games. Mm-hmm. And then they beat them once when they were just getting out of that scandal.
Yeah.
And Rutgers had a decent team, and Penn State was just getting over their sanctions. They were still under sanctions.
Yeah.
And Rutgers got in hot water because they had two incidents with Penn State, trying to ignite a rivalry now that they're both in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And the first one was that the students that they were selling a shirt on campus. Rutgers wears red, Penn State wears blue. Sandusky likes to touch little boys, and Joe Paterno fucking knew.
Oh, yeah.
And the second controversy was the scoreboard at Penn State at Rutgers Stadium actually said Ped State.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. I mean, Rutgers. So, even though I'm not really a Rutgers fan, I kind of got to root for Rutgers when they ever play Penn State. Yes, even though it's about as good as rivalry as the hammer versus the nail.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I'd say probably the worst rivalry ever would have to be the civil conflict. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It was the University of Connecticut.
Oh.
With UCF. I'm almost positive it's UConn. The UConn football coach was trying to make it an issue. He was trying to make it a rivalry with UCF, and UCF did not care at all. They even the UConn coach even had a trophy made for it, and UCF left it on their bench on their sideline. They walked away. They're like, we're not doing this.
UConn football program is probably going to shut down.
Yeah. Well, I think actually,
they took a year off for COVID. They took a year off for COVID.
Yeah.
But they're an independent now. They don't have a conference. The football school, the basketball team was great, and then they went to the AAC, and they were struggling. Even the women's basketball team took a step back in the AAC, and then they looked at each other. He goes, "We're not a football school. We're a basketball school. Why are we sacrificing our basketball team to be in a next six conference? What do they call it?
Yeah, they're not a Power 5.
They're not a Power 5 conference. It's a step below Power 5
yeah.
for the AAC. And basically, the football team was told that the basketball team had to stay in the AAC for them to be allowed to stay in the AAC, which they were a doormat for the AAC to begin with. So, the point is this. Villanova has a football team that's FCS. If Idaho University took the step down, either UConn has to take the step down or take the step out. Just quit the football program, which would be a shame if they did. But, maybe they should just go and compete with Villanova in the FCS. I mean...
Yeah. Well, it's from what I remember reading, it was pretty much UConn outside of basketball was just considering getting rid of almost all their sports.
I
think Maryland did almost the same. Maryland got rid of a lot of sports a few years back.
I know exactly one quarterback that's ever gone to played for UConn.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Michael Casale.
Was he Dolphin?
No. He was a judge.
Did he play in the NFL? No, he was a local judge in New Jersey.
Literally, yeah. He was one of the judges at the courthouse I worked at. He actually is retired now, but he was a judge at the Essex County Courthouse, and he in the 70s played quarterback at UConn. In fact, he has UConn. He used to have UConn cufflinks.
Really?
Yeah, the dog.
Oh yeah.
The husky.
There you go.
So yeah, he was a quarterback for UConn like around 1976, 77.
And the next level for him was being.
Yeah, he became a lawyer, and there from that he became a judge. I mean, that's a great career.
Yeah, that's UConn football.
UConn football. You may not make the NFL, but you might wear a black robe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's so you mentioned it earlier. The Mets won a game by dropping an elbow.
That was the strangest ending to a game. I've seen some strange endings on TV, and that might be one of the strangest games I would have seen on TV.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, it's the strangest game I've ever attended.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, you were there. It was opening.
Yes.
It was opening day for the Mets.
Yep. Not counting last year, I've only missed one opening day since 2004. Since 1998.
Really?
And that was 2004. I've only missed one home opener.
Nice. That's a true fan right there, folks.
And there were some like shitty years. I mean,
yeah, no. Hey, I'm a Jaguar fan. I was going to home games. If it was a game, it didn't matter what the record was.
2003 home opener. Tom Glavine making his Mets debut. I got probably one of the worst seats in the house, sitting next to Tommy Agee's home run marker, up in the upper deck. I could actually see the passengers on the planes landing at LaGuardia Airport from where I was sitting better than I could see the batter.
Yeah.
And the Mets got pummeled by the Cubs, 15-1.
But you were there.
I was there.
You were there. Well, so the Mets won. I heard you were on a Mets gala, and
yeah,
I heard that did not turn out too well for you. What happened there?
Well, I was commenting about the DMZ.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's a big fan of DMZ.
Of course, everyone knows. Are you saying the DMV?
No, the rapper that just died.
Oh, DMX.
Oh, my mistake.
Obviously, you were a big fan yourself.
I don't really know rappers. I just don't.
Are you a big music guy at all? Is there a genre of music that you enjoy?
I listen to music. I actually like listening to yacht rock, or like a lot of things from the '80s. Some of that stuff. I like basically hearing guitars and harmony and instruments.
Yeah.
You kind of don't get that in rap music.
No, not a lot. But so you said something about DMX that got you kicked off the Met Gala.
Well, of course I sent out the tweet.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So you basically brought that tweet up, and
well, they brought the tweet up, and I said, well, I see this tweet that's just been lingering for 4 days in the trending column about DMX being in a vegetative state.
Yeah, that was trending for a while.
And I said that at this point, I think it might be clickbait. You're going to click it, and you're going to find out how best to store your vegetables.
There you go. They kicked you off. Like,
but you ever notice that they have a story, and it's like, find out class secrets about Full House. You click it. Secrets to winning in poker.
Yeah. It's just it's not what the title said at all.
It's not anything the title said.
Yeah.
And it goes.
Well, DMX is officially passed away.
Well, that is a shame. Addiction. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the further we go into it, it's becoming more of a like even Joe Biden's son. Like it started out like during the campaign season, it was like, oh, he's on crack and all this stuff, all the pictures floating around, and now he has his own little interview came out, and it's more like, all right, hey, it's, he's a person talking about his drug addiction or his struggles.
They have their problems, no matter how rich you are, no matter how much money you have or how much fame you have, how many actors and singers and performers have died of overdoses or their bodies are somehow connected to just using hard drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of hard drugs, you and I have been walking the streets.
Yep, we've been walking the streets. And you've seen some interesting things, Doug.
I have. Well, I tell you what. We walked. You said you were going to get lunch the other day, and I said, hey, I'll go for a walk with you. We walked probably about 7 blocks down 7th Avenue, and within the first 2 blocks, I saw a drug deal. Which I'm from Jacksonville. I've seen a drug deal here and there, but it was so in the open with like a lady like sitting on like a rock next to the corner street. And there's like a NYPD officer like 5 feet away, and like these 2 people are just like, it's like a complete open transaction, like looking at a baggie of stuff, and I'm like, all right, whatever, But
first off, they arrest the guys; they're going to be released. Yeah. Second off, if it's just 1 vial, who the fuck cares? The guy's going to fuck himself up.
Yeah. Now so here you just mentioned it's a vial. This is how unfamiliar I am with it. I also heard somebody say the other day a vial. When I think vial, I think of like a glass tube. But is up here? I mean, is that a New York term for like a bag of Coke? Is that a vial of Coke?
Well, a lot of crack.
Yeah, the crack is in the glass tube. Is it glass tube, right?
Or plastic.
Or plastic. Okay, but that's a vial. Okay, so not the baggie is a baggie.
Yeah, it's a baggie.
Okay, that's what I saw. I saw.
Oh, so you saw a baggie?
Yeah, I saw a baggie.
Yeah, they call them dime bags.
Yeah, they call it because it costs $10, right? Or they weigh 10 something. I don't.
Something like that.
We're not a drug podcast.
We're not a drug podcast. But I do know from court terms.
There you go. Yeah,
so put in a small bag at one time might have cost $10 or something like that, or that's sort of like how the street term started.
Yeah. I imagine there's probably somebody who knows exactly what we're trying to say.
You got coke, you got the heroin.
Yeah, the heroin. Yeah. Well, So it was like two drug deals. It's amazing. I didn't mind the drug deals. Like, hey, whatever.
And the thing about heroin is, it's illegal, obviously.
Yeah.
And these drug dealers, they cut the heroin with other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes, so you don't get pure heroin.
No.
All the time. Some people sell pure heroin, but that's a little more expensive or a little higher quality. So, because a lot of people, some of these heroin people buy heroin from other people, and they cut it down and change the thing.
Yeah, they'll add ingredients.
And I've heard, like
shoe polish is something. I don't know. Yeah.
They'll add ingredients. They'll put in quinine.
Well, I'm not. What's that?
Baby formula.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it has like the same consistency.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And the one thing you got to watch out for is to also put fentanyl in there.
Yeah. Now that I know about, and
And fentanyl is deadly.
Yeah. Well, I've seen. I mean, I've seen. There was a video where a police officer, I think, just touched fentanyl, and he started going into like having a reaction from it.
And who knows? Maybe they'll do an autopsy on DMX, and they'll find that he partially ingested fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you just, if you don't know where your drugs are coming from, you never know.
No, you don't.
And that might be one of the reasons I've never tried anything before.
No, it's scary. It's ridiculous. I haven't even tried marijuana yet.
Yeah, neither have I. Although I think possibly we'll have to talk later on. I think there might be an opportunity for us coming up. You know, it is 4/9 today. I think it's coming on 4/10.
I'll skip 4/20 this year.
You'll skip. Okay, well. I may partake. I don't know. We'll see. I've never done it before.
Well, you see, the problem is 4/20 comes with the day before 4/21. Mm-hmm. And 4/21, I get my second dose of the COVID vaccine.
Yeah. Do you think marijuana might affect that? Or?
I don't know, but
just best just in case.
Best. Yeah. Just get fully vaccinated first.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I can definitely understand that. Well, on our walk. So we had a couple. Saw a couple drug transactions, which again I don't like. It's almost it's funny to me. Like the drug transaction didn't bother me. It's just when you see the person who's clearly on something walking down the street, that kind of like I don't even want to say bothered me, but it was like, all right, like I have to like do like a wide turn around this person because like they're just swinging their arms, they're flailing their arms, and like they're just out. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like,
well, you just gotta just roll the punches. It's New York. It's a cornucopia of experiences.
Yeah, well, not the one I had a real issue with was when we were just around about a block away from where we were going. Is the guy holding the knife yelling at the other guys to go ahead and shoot him? And I didn't like. Hey, listen, if they want to go out and shoot each other or whatever, like that group of people, they can that were in the car and everything. That guy holding the knife. If they want to go have a fight,
Maybe
somewhere,
they're actors rehearsing a part for next week's episode of Law and Order.
That's a possibility, but I did not feel comfortable standing behind the person begging the other people to shoot him, because I don't think they would have been clear about shooting just him.
If I could get you if I could get access to a time machine, I would take you to New York City,
80s.
1987-ish, 86.
I've heard.
86, we'll go watch the Mets, too.
I've heard those were good times.
Where if you went down 42nd Street in the Times Square zone, porn shops, nothing but porn shops. Porn shops, porn theaters, live stripper shows.
Yeah.
Just a whole cornucopia of just like the red light district of just anything you can imagine.
And now there's an M&M store.
I mean,
and a Legoland.
You want to talk about just a full 180?
Yeah.
I mean, it went from you couldn't even take your kids. You didn't even want your kids to see pictures of Times Square.
Yeah.
To now it's where all the tourists bring their children.
Yeah. And seeing I still haven't been down there. I'm sure I'll go sooner or later. I don't really do crowds. I think I'm okay in crowds, but it's going to bother me.
The only thing that gets annoying is
outfits.
people try to come up to you and try to hustle some money.
Yeah.
Which is like
they assume you're a tourist.
I mean, in the old days, it was the same way. I mean, instead of Batman coming up to you and hustling for a picture, it would have been a $10 hooker.
Yeah, some nice lady just
with about missing about 25 teeth, but.
Yeah, well, hey, some guys might like that. No judgment here, but I'm excited to go on more of these walks down New York City. I think we might even turn it into a segment, maybe like New York City Streetwalkers.
Streetwalkers, well, that sounds like a very good name.
Yeah, I mean, I think just you and I just walking down the street, taking pictures of what we see, and I think that'll be a cool thing to do.
And maybe if we could get some money, we could take the elevator ride up to the Empire State Building.
That would be nice. I think that might be one of our first segments. I want to do this New to New York series where I feel like, we have Donnie here. Donnie goes around the world. He recently went to Columbia and everything. I don't know if there's a segment that Barstool's done about hey, this is New York City.
I think that's a very good idea. And
yeah.
Of course, you'll get to see the stadiums.
Of course, yeah. Got to go to Shea Stadium, and that's Citi Field. Citi Field. Now, was it used to be Shea Stadium?
Old stadium was Shea Stadium.
That was the old stadium. I gotcha. Well, I'm excited for.
I actually have a brick from Shea Stadium.
Really?
Yes.
With so they tore it down piece by piece and auctioned it off or something.
Yeah.
Or? Nice.
Meanwhile, in my apartment, as we mentioned, we've kind of hit a dead end in the search for the unit house.
We have. It's unfortunate. We looked, and we're going to continue to look. I mean, obviously, if something pops up last minute, we'll jump on.
There literally is nothing. No houses for rent in New Jersey. Nothing.
It's there's been a couple duplexes.
There's been duplexes, and it's like the third floor.
Yeah, and it's the whole point of the unit house was to have people over, for different events.
I mean, if we're gonna just find apartments, we might as well just find apartments for ourselves and just
Yeah, we can still do a lot of the challenges and stuff that we wanted to do. It's just,
I want to try to do the unit games.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do bocce ball, putt. What else? What other stationary events were we going to be doing?
I mean, I'm almost to the point now where I want to just play bocce with my friggin' wound vac on.
Yeah. Well, that's speaking of that. So that's I mean the wound vac is, pretty much what's holding us up right now.
Well, my knee's healing. My
yeah.
knee's healing. I just don't know if I could swing a golf club or a putter comfortably with it.
No, yeah, no.
But
yeah,
it's coming around.
Good. Yeah. Once that's off, we'll be able to hit the links again.
I mean, the only problem is now trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And sleeping with the wound vac is a little bit of a hassle. Although my new bed, I finally got my new bed.
Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, that new bed is terrific.
Nice.
It takes a couple days to break the new bed in.
For sure.
And I think I got to the point where now I've broken the bed in.
Yeah.
And of course, I every morning I'm getting woken up by, move your car! Move your car! You should have had your car moved by now!
Those are your landlord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to park on Mill Street, 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to wake up and move my fucking car to the street. Hard to find a spot on my street with everyone moving because they're fixing the roof of my apartment. And basically, it's the most incompetent shit show you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They have attached a wooden crate to a green forklift. And they're lifting people up on this green forklift and putting them on the roof and having people stand in the wooden crate. And instead of using hammers and like the electric hammers, the power hammer, nail guns, they're using traditional hammers. And it's like 10 people hammering.
Sounds like the Amish raising a barn.
I mean, first off, does that sound safe to you? That they got and I actually sent a picture out on Twitter a couple days ago of the forklift and the crate that's attached to it, and they're lifting these people up on a crate on a forklift.
Yeah, no, that does not sound safe to me, but it doesn't surprise me.
And it's taken them off now. They're trying to do a whole complex, and because they're using fucking hammers and not fucking nail guns, it's taking a fucking forever. And the place across the street was also doing the roof. They put up scaffolding. They're already fucking done.
Yeah. So it sounds.
And nobody's disrupted.
Yeah.
All they ever do is at this apartment is disrupt other people's lives. And I just got my lease offer. $1,600 next year.
Oh, so they're raising your rent.
And even though I was in Detroit at the time, they were yelling at people to move their cars during the Super Bowl so they could plow.
Yeah, because that's obviously the best time.
Yeah, it's obviously the best time.
Yeah, well, it's looking like the unit house may not happen, but obviously you're not going to.
Well, something's going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to be, even if we're in different apartments, you're not going to be in the same apartment that you're in right now.
I got to get out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I'm going to pay $1,600 a month, I want something bigger, something better. I mean, I have and I want the washer and dryer in my complex is always busy.
Yeah.
They only have 2 for the whole fucking complex.
That is wild.
And and you can't use it after 10. I would be willing to use it after 10. No, they in fact the super, if you use going after 10, would go in, stop the washer, and throw your clothes on the floor.
Really?
Yeah. It is a horrible place, and you get these like passive-aggressive emails. I don't want to have to ring your bell. Get your car moved, and if this continues, you might lose your parking privilege.
Now it's a privilege now.
Yes.
No, it's
by the way,
I pay. Like it's in your lease.
I pay for my parking too.
Really?
Yes.
You pay to park at your apartment.
Yes. And they want to build a play area. So that's going to take out some parking spots too. I got to get the fuck out of this place.
Yeah, I just picture that meme where it says "F them kids," and I just picture Frank Fleming and you standing in front of like this half-built playground.
They shouldn't have to build a playground. There's a fucking rec house 3 fucking blocks away. Go down to the fucking rec house.
Yeah, you kids.
Yeah, go down to the rec house. You don't have to use it. There doesn't need to be one.
Yeah. I can't imagine how many parking spots that's going to take up for kids to hang out and play a couple hours a day, if that.
There's a rec house. They're better off at the rec house.
Yeah. Well, Frank, we'll get you out of there. What are your plans for this weekend?
Well, I know some people have Barstool at the Park tickets, but, unfortunately, with the COVID situation, it doesn't look like I'll be able to make it out there.
Oh, no.
Hopefully, the next Barstool at the Park, we'll be able to send some Barstool people out there. So I hope the fans that got the tickets have fun. Of course, I have my Saturday plan, and that's, of course, kind of in the air right now because of COVID and the restrictions. So any Saturday 20-game plan holders, they could defer their tickets later in the year, or maybe even defer a payment until next year. So the Mets are actually handling that well. I mean, I imagine the Mets probably want to admit more than 28% of people. I was there yesterday. Disappointed the Mets didn't do the introductions. Very disappointed.
Oh, it was opening day. Why wouldn't they do that?
They only did the starting lineup and said, and here's your 2021 Mets, and they all lined up on the side.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for them to introduce the Marlins. I never understood why they introduced the road team during the home opener. I don't understand that. I mean, fuck the Marlins. Fuck the road team. Fuck them. Fuck them hard. And especially fuck Don Manning, that big fucking crybaby. But anyway, all they did was introduce the starting lineup because I want the opportunity to cheer and boo people. I mean...
That's why you're upset. I wish they would have introduced the teams so that I could boo them.
Yeah, so I would have definitely booed Trevor May. I would have given great cheers to Marcus Stroman. I would have given a cheer to Jacob deGrom. I would have booed Trevor May. I would have booed Aaron Loop.
What about Conforto?
Well, I booed him yesterday anyway. He was in the starting lineup.
Booed him anyway. That's okay. So, what do you?
I mean, just think about yesterday. He when the umpire single strike three, he was getting booed, and then all of a sudden the umpire starts pointing to first. The Mets are starting to celebrate, and it's also like, what? They just won?
Yeah.
What?
So everyone in the stands was also confused.
Yes, especially in right field.
Yeah.
You know how they say you're all the way in right field?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was all the way in right field yesterday. Got some good views at some things. I got a good view of that fucking catch that Marte made, taking what could have been a 3-run double away from Dom Smith.
Nice. So
I mean,
not too bad of a view. Just.
I mean, yeah, you're just in the right field corner, and it's. I mean, it was such a bizarre play. There's no way to describe it.
Yeah, nobody knew what was going on. Well, that's all right. So no Saturday game for you today. What are you doing instead of going to the game?
I guess chores. Maybe start looking a little bit for an apartment for myself if we can't do the unit house.
Yeah. We'll definitely. Like I said, I mean, if a unit house pops up and we haven't signed, and neither of us has signed anywhere else, we'll jump on it. But
I mean,
we've been looking for a while. I'm still in a hotel. The hotel is not cheap.
You can't find another Airbnb? Or you just don't trust it?
No, so here's the thing. I trust Airbnb. They handled the situation well once Big Cat got involved. But they actually the girls. I'm not even sure if I want to deal with it anymore. The lady that was hosting wrote this whole thing about how I ripped off the sheets in order to show. Like I messed up the bed in order to take a picture of it, in order to send to Airbnb, as if I didn't just show up and I took it was a soft blanket. It was like a blanket you would find anywhere that was on the bed. She said that apparently I had removed that.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just wild. Anyway, so she has this whole. She kind of cursed me out and was like, you should be kicked off the platform for lying. And I was like, she obviously has to say that in order. Otherwise, if she didn't say it, then Airbnb may look at that and go, oh, okay, well, she's admitting to it. But so she obviously has to say that. But that's on my profile now as a review for me saying oh, he lied to Airbnb in order to get out of his. Anyway, that's wild. So no, the Airbnb I had that before that in Brooklyn that I stayed. It was a tiny room and I just didn't fit in the room. Other than that though, it was a pleasant guy and everything, had no problems whatsoever. But yeah, it'll be a while before I try Airbnb again. But
Yeah, but like I said, the hotels are not cheap.
no, they're not. So
Well, you could come over to New Jersey. We got some no-tell motels.
that sounds like a place that I probably wouldn't want to stay at. I feel like no-tell motel. I think I might be able to get that out of the context, what that means.
Hourly rates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm looking for daily or weekly, not hourly. But well, that'll.
Well, we also got Howard Johnson, Marriott.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice to be able to walk to the office, but I'll probably be looking for something a little further out near New Jersey, if not in New Jersey, if we can't find a unit house. But yeah, I'm excited for the Masters. I'm just gonna be watching golf all weekend.
Yeah, we got the Masters this weekend. Bryson DeChambeau has made a nice comeback today. Of course, I bet him, and he shot a miserable first round.
Yeah.
Must have known I bet him.
Yeah. Now, Frank, we talked about this earlier. This might be a moneymaker for you. I don't know if you're allowed to do it or not, or the logistics. I think there are plenty of people who would pay you good money to not bet on their team. I think there are some. I
think that's coming. I announced to everyone the other day that for the rest of the season, I'm going to be rooting for the Islanders. Now I'm still a Devil fan, obviously, but
I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah.
But the Islanders have the Devils' former general manager, who the Devils should have never fired.
Yeah.
They have Andy Green, a former Devil captain. They have and now they've added Travis Zajac and Kyle Palmieri, two of my favorite players.
So the Islanders are like the old Devils.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not really rooting for the Islanders. I'm rooting for these ex-Devils.
Yeah.
But they're on the Islanders, so I have to root for the Islanders. So I said I'm going to be rooting for the Islanders the rest of the season. And Islander fans are screaming in agony, no.
Please don't.
In fact, someone sent out a tweet of the infamous Darth Vader, no.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, Frank Borelli, a fellow unit of ours, he's a big Islanders guy. And so that might work out,
Yeah, Frankie Borelli, join us. Join us.
One of us.
One of us.
Well, that's when I saw that tweet that you were going to be an Islanders fan. I thought, well, hey, now,
No, I'm still a Devil fan. I'm
still a Devils fan.
I'm just for it expires after the playoffs.
Expired. Okay, so it's got a what we call that down in Florida, a sunset.
I mean, I'm a Devil fan.
All right.
And the reason I'm rooting for the Islanders is because
they
got Devils.
They got the Devils.
They got Devils players.
That's fair. Well, I'm excited. I'm like I said, my weekend is just going to be watching the Masters and just watching golf all weekend. I'm excited for that.
Hello, friends.
Frank, that sounds like a heck of a weekend for both of us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Barstool Units. First time in the office. I'm excited that we're going to be doing more of these in the office. And now that we're in the office, we can have more guests. Fellow office Barstool Units in the office will be joining us periodically. And that's Barstool Units. Frank, take us out.
Unit to unit, Barstool Unit. It's time to watch the unit. Big guys talking about sports and being big, taking on the whole world. Unit, the unit, it's time for the unit. Click like and subscribe. Unit, the unit, everywhere it's unit. It's time to be a unit and subscribe.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Barstool Units. See you next time.